composition, to see what the breach v breach looks like. We heard Boaster had to move roles as well, so it's good to see that we are getting a fresh, funky take here in 2022.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this matchup. It is really going to deliver some high-level Valorant here in EMEA, and we're excited to see whether or not Guild or FNATIC is going to top this group. Straight away, in the pistol, safe with the Sheriff. It is a common factor to see him with the Sheriff in the pistol. He's pushed down C long with his teammate in behind him. He's got some support here in this aggressive stance, and he might just get around the backside of Mystic, who's currently in his Astral form, but on board with the mid play. They are through a garage, and they're trying to wrap around the C site from the other side. Up through B they go. Magnum for one, runs out of ammo, and Russ able to trade out 1 for 1. So currently it is FNATIC who were down a player, but that kill from Brave puts them back into the 3v3.
Spike planted.
A little bit sad not to see Russ on the Sky, for example. I understand completely why, but some of the best games I've seen from Guild have been Russ on the Sky. And that is not the Australian bias in any way, shape or form. Good shots from Durka, and of course safe. Not so safe now as he gets popped off by Brave, and it just means at the moment now for FNATIC winning pistol here. I don't know what the odds are, at least in your mind, Dinko. I know the desk sort of set it as kind of like a FNATIC's being dominant at the moment, but Guild is doing surprises. But this is Haven, which is also a good map here for Guild. Not so much for FNATIC outside of course, what they were able to do to ascend. How do you weigh this? Because recent form would really dictate that FNATIC's looking pretty good on Haven, but then beyond that, we remember the crew incident as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a little while, and I think that's something that's going to have messed up Boaster for a while. You know, he's going to be going back to the hard work in, and you know, FNATIC are confident enough to pick this one up, and I think you can just hear from the interviews that they're confident right now. You know, they won't be feeling any of the losses they've had before here. I feel like FNATIC is definitely going to be well prepared, and the fact that they've got a good start here, Jess, that really increases their chances. You know, if they can go 2-0 here, you know, stop against this couple pistol upgrade buy here from Guild, it's a good start. FNATIC definitely can get off to a real solid control moment here on Haven.
I know it's only the second round, but something that I've been loving from FNATIC is their innovation. I mean, we saw their counterplay on Icebox. I know FNATIC is known for Icebox, but their ability to be able to counter and use utility in unison, and even their plan positions have been great on a multiplicity of maps now. So they're thinking outside the box. This should be a round that, unless a crazy bit of shots are going to be hit here from Guild, that should go into the hands of FNATIC. As the time ticks away, they know what's happening, and well, Guild, they've left it a little bit too late.
Yeah, they're trying to contain FNATIC at this point, just try and keep them here, try and do as much damage on the way out, hope they can die to the spike. Now, just charge in and see how much damage you can do to this FNATIC purchase, and they've actually done quite a bit of work there. 3 kills come in. That seems to be it, and in fact it will be. So 2 players stay up for FNATIC, so that's at least 2 bonus weapons being brought into this, and Magnum actually decides to invest into a Spectre. He sold that away again. And you can see that economic damage to FNATIC right now, Jess. This isn't going to be a bonus, really, because they don't have a lot to play with. So Guild should be taking their first round here just with the damage they were able to pick up towards the end of the round there.
You'd want to hope so. We've seen FNATIC pull out some weird and wacky plays, but Guild is one of those rosters that is turning heads left, right, and center at the moment, especially inside this region, and of course throughout into the playoffs as well. Mid hit, Durka making space, bursting onto site, and it means now that both of these teams are going to have to continue to try and use all of their utility to make this retake happen. And Guild, they're quite happy to let FNATIC get this plan down. They love their retakes, win conditions, that's on the board for them, but they have the weapons to do it now.
Yeah, FNATIC could be very happy about getting a free plant out of this, considering the weapons they've got. It's extra cash for the next round at least, and now they're trying to hold on for the round win, but great play. That gravity wall pulls him into the fight. Dirk then easily eliminated by Russ. They tap the spike, and so that's going to create a little bit of chaos now for FNATIC as they are worrying that defuse is coming through. It's not being stuck right now. Trex and Russ getting the picks, and Brave sends his shot darts in. Everybody's going down. Magnum able to get one from the grave onto Cold Dementa, but it will be Guild who will get onto the defuse and pick up their first round. But FNATIC 1 kill, spike plant, considering the weapons they brought to the table, they won't be too disappointed about it, and it's all about this buy coming up. So Guild, they win the round they're supposed to. Now FNATIC can pull at the rifles, and this is the first real test for both teams. The meat and potatoes begin on this matchup.
Where are you from, Dingo?
Oh yeah, Ireland, you know, so
yeah.
You know, we got the Australianisms, we got the Irishisms, you know. It's St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, Jess, so
oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
There we go.
All right, I learned something every day. You know what else I learned? Is that Guild, no matter what kind of economic situation they're going up against, will follow the script like line by line, letter by letter. Grab well backside, turn towards mid, make sure they take control bit by bit, even if they have the superior weaponry. Guild did not let that get the better of them. And speaking of weaponry, Cold and Mensa, if FNATIC were to push into that one, that could be a disaster awaiting, but they're just slowly pushing and prodding towards window, or rather garage.
Brave sending his drone on in to clear out any potential nukes and crannies in this C site. It's about to become a real bloodbath in this site as that rotation starting to come back in from Guild. Russ, he's found the first. Durka is the first victim of play. Magnum able to make quick work of the follow-up, and Mystic will do the same. So FNATIC, they've got the advantage now. Spike will start to be planted. This time they can commit to it comfortably. In fact, they've got so much space to play with. They can drop back into some post plants. And this just increases the difficulty of the round win here for Guild, who have to play retake. And they don't really have a lot of control nor utility set up just to deal with this one. Oster's trying to be neutralized, but right now he doesn't even care if he just doesn't get the kill, but he still does. He's all about buying time in that position, just trying to keep Guild away from it, but he's found a kill even. Now follow-up from Leo is safe, and Leo have got it into the 2v2. Now pressure for FNATIC. Ult is taken away. Leo will tap again. They know they're not sticking it, and Brave will take down both. Fantastic play from FNATIC in the post plant.
Brave, the newest addition to the FNATIC lineup. A lot of people looking at the little roster there and going, Brave. That doesn't look like Doma. That's what happened there. I mean, look, roster changes happen all the time all over the globe, and Brave has been an addition to their lineup that they have felt has been quite an impactful one. I mean, a lot of people remember montages from Brave shooting through walls. I get it. You know, VAC, check his computer, not so normal, but I think he's been a really important middling support addition to the team. Whilst he can kill, he can absolutely play the smart game. And speaking of smart, nice little bit of concussion over towards Durka there as he dashes over towards A. I know they've been a little bit C heavy so far, so it's good for them to be able to vary things up here. They don't want to become predictable.
Yeah, it's trying to finally test this A site. They're going to send a lot of their forces over here early, FNATIC, but that means their rotation. Guild will be a lot more lenient with rotations. They'll take a few more risks because they're down on some weaker weapons. So they've got their forces back over here. Are they really going to be able to pull off the retake, though? They send the shotguns in, the Blitestorm up from safe, but a big flick up from Durka has taken down his head. You know, that can often be a play you have to expect when that Bladestorm is popped on the other side of things. And now we look to the 5 versus 4 advantage with FNATIC as they hold down the site. They've got some counter utility. Here comes the retake attempt.
That's what you look for. You just want to make sure that you pop out everybody utility in unison there, and that is the goal here for Guild. Trek somehow, some way with the pistol in hand. It means that he's going to have to be able to hit more, but it's just not enough. And whilst Leo has the weapon, it's a 1v1. No time left. He can at least try and take out Mystic should he want, but Mystic's already booked it down a main, and he's out.
Yeah, fantastic work there from Guild to do that amount of damage, but FNATIC they take the round nonetheless. Yeah, the utility being used up for FNATIC was looking like it's going to be clean to try and hold on to it, but somehow, some way, Leo was able to do a lot of damage on the way out, and we'll see how that affects FNATIC moving forward.
Spike planted.
I love that shot. That was a good shot. And a good read in the fact that once, sort of safe at updraft. I mean, of course, it's going to be Durka that's going to understand where possibly that is going to be one jet reading another.
That's the fun thing about a mirror matchup, right? When you have like both sides playing the exact same thing, you can kind of counter it in your own mind.
Will this hit? This is the big question. Safe with the operator in hand. We always speak about these jet v jet. CNET in the question about operators recently, but we have seen some excellent operator shots so far, so.
Well, Safe is holding a little bit more of an advanced setup. He can dash back to safety.
Right there. Right there.
But FNATIC do not mind taking their time. And what is Mr. Boaster trying to say here at the moment? Setting up his team for an A play. Sending the drone in. Dirk is about to be spotted. Trek sees him, spots the blade. Storm safe, unable to find the opening, and has to drop back into the site.
He does get away with the operator for now, and that's going to be a very important part of holding this back. That's a nice little combo there. We saw the Rolling Thunder in unison to be able to clap back, but the Rolling Thunder, it's able to do the damage they need to be able to evade it for just a second. A 3v3. Boaster still gets the plant down. I think that was a great response there from Leo once they'd heard the util coming out. They needed to be able to crush it before it was able to make that crushing blow.
Yeah, now Guild, they're all coming in from the same avenue. They're all coming in from the same position. Boaster throws in the Rolling Thunder just to try and commit to this one. Russ coming back in. Boaster's down first, but Durka, with that Blade Storm, able to deliver some damage. And now we have to look to Leo and Coldamenta to get back into the side. Oh, Durka right through, commits to the right click. And now it's just Leo left. Diving down towards short. Brave will eliminate him. And FNATIC, even in the closer rounds, will take it 5-1 on the board now. This attacking side looking fantastic. The team play on point. And that is certainly a talking point to move forward with. And Guild now down in one round. They're back to a lower tier bye.
Right here.
Good opportunity there for Guild to be able to get into the mix of things. And I liked the reactive utility usage there. We saw the Rolling Thunder come out. Oof. God, that was a good bit of usage there from the Blade Storm from Durka, but I'm loving that we're getting to see the Breach play. I remember when Breach first sort of became the meta here, especially on Haven. Everyone was playing as much, especially if we think about the Gravwell down A long with a Breach flash. I mean, everyone was doing it. Everyone thought that that was the prime way to play, and it's clear that both of these teams now think it's going to be one of the key parts of their composition.
Durka moves on up. Just one for him. Leo able to come away with a double. Coldamenta getting involved as well. Coldamenta doubles up and sets up the platform for Russ's headshot. Thrifty round is Guild. Take two now. That's a round you did not expect to come through, and one that FNATIC will be kicking themselves about. But Guild, that's impressive.
Well, that's what we need. A little bit of a shoe back into the race here, and this is something that we wanted to see from Guild. Again, we have to keep harping onto the fact that this is a Guild map. A lot of people know them to do quite well on Haven, outside of course, that super massive Blaze. That was not the best showing. I think people would say that that was a close showing, but they still did walk away with a loss in that, and this A-long has been hotly contested. Who's the better sniper? Well, Safe, he misses his opportunity, and with the Marshal in hand, he had to have hit that head, otherwise it's too little too late.
Yeah, FNATIC slowing this one down now. They don't want to get caught in the same situation as they did in the last round. They learned the lesson. Putting a bit more pressure in towards B, but it is all on Safe right now to try and find the opening. A missed shot. Unorthodox to see Safe miss those. Magnum has taken his own life. He's out of play. He's been picked out from B. And now Boaster trying to wrap around and take some control for his team. He'll send his fault line in just to try and keep them back and garner some control that allows them to pick up that drop weapon and get back in behind cover. Not without taking damage though. It's all about getting the plant here for FNATIC, and Boaster's done exactly that. But can they hold on to it, Jess? They are down with lower weapons and now they've lost another player.
Defensive lockdown coming in, gets destroyed at the last second. Of course, that Cosmic Divide will rain as well. What an expensive round on both halves of it. And well, that's why you keep your weapon out. Running with your knife is only good when you're not expecting an engagement. And while Boaster falls, that's another good round here from Guild. And I think the importance of that is that we've seen a trend from FNATIC as to where it is that they want to put their attention to. Do they commit to one side? Are they able to poke and prod? Like we saw N3C before, Mech as we're sort of calling them, is playing that kind of, well, yes, we're happy to put a lot of our utility on one side and then bait and switch and go elsewhere, and we're comfortable to do that. FNATIC seemingly poking and prodding for the early parts of the round, but then making that full commit. And I'm wondering whether or not it's because they are committing a lot of their utility to the push. They want to play off of that, and it hasn't necessarily always been able to give them a lot of post-play utility as a result. Something for us to monitor as the rounds go on.
Well, Safe. To be looking again for this long pick. He's gone there time and time again trying to open things up, but this time we won't be seeing much. FNATIC are going elsewhere. In fact, they're looking at the C site right now as the tantalizing prospect. They're going to deal with a lot of players here. Here comes the Rolling Thunder out from the defensive side of Guild. They've sent it into the right position. This stifled FNATIC is actually giving the garage back to Guild. So FNATIC right now have lost an essential part of the map control if they wanted to go for the C split. And they've got to slow it right down. Luckily, they've got time to play with here in a minute.
You'd also see that Safe is all the way over towards A long again, still holding on to that angle. If he wanted to, I wouldn't say it's optimal with the operator in hand, but he could come sneaking up behind, and it's really only Brave that's checking out on the flank at the moment. No really utility to hold off on the flank. This is something that Guild could work with instead. They're taking these front-on fights, and as a result now, popping out the Hunter's Fury doesn't really get much for it, but Mystic on the other side will get his own.
30 seconds left.
Here we go, spike down. Given an opportunity now for Shafe to show us his skills. We don't want to see him play safe, we want to see him play absolutely monstrous. He saw a player, and as another Cosmic Divide comes out, Trex, he goes nuclear, he's on site, no weapons, no bullets left. And he will take out Boaster, pulls out the pistol, and we have asked to see the prowess of Guild on their retakes. They are happy to let FNATIC plant round after round after round. And what did we say was the win condition about, 6-7 rounds ago? Oftentimes for Guild, it is the retake scenario. They keep a lot of their utility for that. And FNATIC invest a lot to be able to get onto site to begin with. So really good opportunity for us to see two ends of the spectrum. Teams that like to use their utility mid, or rather early to mid round, compared to a team like Guild who really wants to hold on to it, almost like an investment.
Yeah, great to see this that individual prowess, out of a player like Trex. We know this team has so much individual firepower that could go toe-to-toe with FNATIC. And this game is starting to heat up. It's starting to turn into that matchup we expected, right? To be so close, so back and forth. A lot of the messy rounds coming through because you just have so much firepower available. They are inevitable. And Boaster said you're playing against the big boys now. Well, Guild's certainly showing that they can handle that. Brave sending his drone to the garage. Here comes the lockdown in, and Leo. He's actually been able to take out Brave early. So FNATIC down a player and have to do it in difficult mode, and it just gets even more difficult as they move forward. Leo goes into the fight, and Guild caught inside of the lockdown. That gives a chance to Magnum, but there's only a slither as Trex is able to take him out. FNATIC slither away with a spike plant at a minimum. And there's still so much to do in this round, and FNATIC will try and do as much damage as they can. Of course, with this game being so back and forth, the economy hasn't grown for Guild, and now Mystic just lets them dive on by. It's one, it should have been too clean. Unfortunately for Mystic, there's just too many players coming his way. He will be cleaned up, but a decent bit of damage on the way out, and FNATIC also get the plant.
So frustrating if you're a FNATIC player right now, because every time you enter that scenario of a post player where you should normally have a greater chance of winning the round than pre-planned. I mean, again, I know we're referencing the first matchup, but M3C Mech, who has a 0% win rate in a kills before a plant, that goes to show how difficult it is to win if you don't get the spike down and you just go for kills. So for FNATIC right now, they're doing the right thing. They are playing for the correct win condition. They're getting in, they're getting the plant down, they're putting themselves into a post-plant situation. Guild, for whatever reason, just have the answer for that, and it is amazing to see.
Well, FNATIC are trying to force their way out A-long early. A little bit of resistance there from Guild, but it's this three-man walk down short that could catch out FNATIC. Are they expecting this kind of proactive defense from Guild? They had it in the last round against some weaker weapons. Now they're trying in some of the better guns, and it's worked out for Coldamenta. He stuck around. Now Boaster rapidly racing to try and get that trade back, but he won't get there in time. And so FNATIC will have to play with a man deficit. It's just followed up as well because Safe was holding towards C, and that's Mystic down. So now FNATIC in a 3 versus 5.
FNATIC still have a good opportunity now. They could even attempt to rotate. We know that they haven't been opting to do that whatsoever, and Guild are still stacking players on other sites in case they do choose to do that, but for whatever reason, FNATIC, they always love to commit to whatever site that they've already thrown utility on, and that's the second Bladestorm whiff today we've seen, but the flash came out, and that's what happens, and that is the first time we have seen a pre-plant decimation from Guild this half, at least that they've been able to hold down in a convincing fashion, and this goes to show that there is a lot in the repertoire of Guild right now. Can they do it in the early round? Can they get down in the mud, down and dirty and do it? Yes, they can. Can they do it in a post plan and hold their utility to allow them, give them greater success? Yes, they can do it. Why has Guild surprised everyone? Because it turns out they can do a lot. And they're really showing us against a formidable team like FNATIC today, because that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see them against another formidable team like FNATIC, especially a strategic one.
I don't know if we're going to be seeing too much aggression this round. It is going to be the double op setup out of Guild. Expensive to run this, and Safe is going to drop back, gets caught, and now FNATIC sending their forces heavy towards C. 3 players start here at long. Coldamenta's came in with the first kill again, but it's a Rolling Thunder being sent out by Boaster. He's been able to remove Coldamenta with the Aftershock, and he's now taken to the site. So FNATIC looking to get that spike down. It is the flank play you have to be aware of inside of B right now. Durka, are they reading this? They will. They start to turn towards him. At least one for Durka, but here comes the Rolling Thunder on the other side of things to try and get Guild back in for the retake. A 3 versus 2 make it done.
My
because
God.
Guild are just so clinical on the retake.
What I liked about that was the reaction to the Rolling Thunder being exuded was to get onto site ASAP in whatever way, whether it was dash, whether it was running, whether it was whatever the immediate response Guild needed. It was, I'm using my ulti, get onto site now. Once the Rolling Thunder had been expended, they got onto site, they took the engagements they need towards Garage and Long, and they get the plant. I mean, there is no, and this is probably what shows a world-class team, there is no delay between we use this piece of utility, we use this ability, and then we act on it. There is no stalling, there's no delay. The communication must be very slick, and I would love to hear it one day, Dinko, for that to occur. So to have a very successful retake, especially when you have to focus on target prioritization and a mishmash of utility, that is a really, really good showing from Guild. It might look like a mess from top down, but there is so much rhyme and rhythm to it.
Here.
It would be cool to hear the comms of these teams, obviously international rosters.
Here.
We'll actually be able to understand what they're saying, Jess. All the other teams, you know, speaking in their native language.
Yeah.
We'll see if this is going to pan out well for Guild at the start of the second half. They are leading their forces towards A, and Durka's on a bit of an information hunt, and he actually comes out worse for wear. Luckily still alive, gets tugged up and forced back, and it's now Brave, the player that might be taking first contact towards Longside. Safe is continuing to try and fight him, so he scared him off. He's forced him back up the ramp, but Brave, living up to his name, goes for the repeat and actually hits the shot this time. Not enough damage done to bring down Safe out of play. It's all about the spike and where it's heading. It's going through the garage right now.
Oop.
Here.
Giving away a little bit of intel there. Spoke about Ross being the Sky player that I used to love watching time and time again. Very effective with flashes, this time on the KJ. I haven't seen him have a huge impact thus far, but again, a lot of the impact for the sporty players throughout all of today has been util, has been the ability to play off other teammates. Let us not forget that Guild's best side on Haven is their attacking side, and they've already done fabulously on their defense.
A big kill from Durka. Although caught in position, so just go for one now. Coldamenta and Russ decide to step up with some frags of their own, and Boaster realizes he's being shot from all sides, and he has to really dig deep to try and fortify his position. He comes out with one, but it's just Magnum left. And a clutch of this magnitude, wow, it just doesn't look like it's going to be happening. Magnum with the first. So much more to find here for Magnum. In a good position, they can double swing, and because of that, it is too much to handle. Magnum goes down, not enough done for FNATIC in the pistol defense, and Guild will have the first round of the second half.
Look at Leo. Look at Leo. Just another day at the office.
Just having a good game, I think.
Just another day at the office for Leo. Really good showing, and a lot of people have been speaking about the different players on the side of Guild and whether or not there is that, you know, quote-unquote star player. I mean, obviously Safe being the one that we always talk about duelist in this highlighting position consistently. And I don't think that is necessarily what we can highlight here for Guild. I think it's important to note, and hotly contested is A-Long yet again. We saw it on the first half, but this time Guild, not only did they love to play it on their defensive side, but they also want it on their attacking side.
Guild just quick little slap in towards A-Long, and they'll take some control there, but they also have somewhat of a recessive setup with three players here in the pack who can hold for some counter-aggression from FNATIC. It's worked out. Trex and Safe get a triple between them, and now it's just Mystic and Magnum left alone. And FNATIC, the name of this round is, of course, to do as much damage as possible, try and bring down as many players from Guild as possible, but given the weapons they've got left and how potent Guild have been, not likely to be too much more than this.
Well, onto site they go, met with absolutely no one. Means that FNATIC right now, they can attempt to play this in a post-play, but as you said, as much damage as possible. That's really is the name of the game now, especially when you will see Guild. They'll be on the 9th round, they'll be staring down the barrel of hitting double digits as well. And they won't even be able to do a single lick of damage outside of course, Leo on side and Coldamenter elsewhere. I think this is a good showing to highlight the fact that not only is FNATIC a very, very strong team, but if you're going to take Guild to a map like Haven, again, a lot of people are going to criticize me for saying this and say, but they're showing against Supermassive Blaze. Yes, I still put that as a bit of an anomaly in my stats here. I've actually highlighted it in red because I don't necessarily think that that's the Guild that is fully formed and what we should usually quote unquote expect from them, because their BBL showing, you know, we've seen previous matches inside of other matches have been really good from the VODs that I've seen. So I think that was just a bad day at the office, of which Leo is not having.
Yeah, certainly not. He's having a great time, and you know, Guild are going to try and get a bonus round win here. If they do, this could be one of the first nails in the coffin of FNATIC. It certainly makes things feel very comfortable for Guild if you take a bonus round win in the second half, already being up. And that kill, that's certainly helping matters out. Safe with a follow-up. Spike isn't even down yet, but already they stand with 2 players to the good. And FNATIC have to try and find their way back in here. Safe goes for a little bit of an overextension into Boaster. That's going to cost him his life. As Durka begins to wrap around, he's not going to read this position of Rust. That's an easy kill for the Spectre, and now it's just Boaster and Brave left alone as they all topple. This could be a very convincing round for Guild. Already has been, but Brave, is there anything in the tank? Can he do some damage on the way out at least? Found one headshot. A little bit of recon bolting, and he wrapped around from the other side. Brave just trying to fight every direction. Nano Swarm on the Spike for the time being as well, and Brave down to 6 eventually will get caught. As 10 rounds now read for Guild, and that's a bonus, guys. That gives them so much money to play with for the rest of this half.
You know what I've worked out? And I sat very intently that entire round just with my eyes glued to the minimap because I wanted to confirm my suspicions, is that we have seen Fighter having solo players, and that's very dangerous against a coordinated Guild.
It's feeling very rough for FNATIC now, and again, just to reiterate, this is the battle for the top of the group. It's also FNATIC's map pick, which doesn't really paint a pretty picture for the rest of this. It's going to take some monumental calling out of Boaster to get back into this one, and Durka leaps forward into the attack, able to come away with one. It's a risky play. It works out really well.
I love the grab well there. That really just painted the picture nicely. Couldn't get out of that one. Already, in fact, he dashed straight into it, and ooh, Coldamenter heard the shots from Magnum, was able to rip his head straight off. And yet again, where are the trades here from FNATIC? Where is their ability to be able to even the man count as the early to mid round occurs? They aren't even able to get into the late round with any kind of even playing ground, because in the early to mid round, they are not only losing players, but they are unable to trade them successfully. Outside of Russ right now, we have not seen an evening in number count from FNATIC in the past 5 rounds.
They charge their way up in towards C. Nebula's up, just locking in control. And Guild with a clean take of the site. FNATIC picking up the spoils of war. It's not the best weapon here for Boaster, but it's certainly better than what he had. But unfortunately, it's short-lived in his hands as well, because Leo around the corner makes sure that Boaster's head no longer resides on his shoulders. And now it is Mystic and Brave left in the 2 versus 4, thinking about the save call potential here. As there's not too much to write home about in terms of chances here for FNATIC. Guild just locking it down, holding down the site. Look to move forward to C just to see where they can find him. Maybe they can catch a wandering player into the crosshair, but as this time begins to tick, their chances become even slimmer of winning. Finding impact is almost impossible now as Brave gets caught in the gravity wall. It is just one. It's Mystic. He'll try his best, but even that is stopped. 11-5. Guild have turned this close affair into a one-sided showing from the Guild side of things. It's looking very, very good for them right now, Jess.
I mean, as we jumped into the second half, I said to you, Dinko, I said, this is troublesome because Haven, you know, attacking sidedness, looking at guild statistics alone, over the past 5 times they've played it, they have like a 70% win rate on their attack alone. So, they were already jumping in with, you know, bonus rounds to play with. And it really just was salt to the wound there, as they were able to just wipe the floor with FNATIC so far. FNATIC, if they play together as a team now, might be able to stem the flow of blood that is just absolutely flowing as a part of this massacre. But I tell you what, they're hemorrhaging at the moment and they need to stop. Whatever it is that they're doing, for me right now, it's the lack of trades, it's the lack of team play. They've got to clean it up.
Here comes the Rolling Thunder. It's going to put too much pressure on the defense to be able to hold this. FNATIC have cracked already this defense. We'll see if it holds water on the retake. Certainly didn't on the initial hold as they decide to set up what will have to be a C retake. FNATIC have certainly got the weapons to do it. Cosmic Divide is up for Guild, holding them back for the time being, and that is allowing Safe just to play in and around it, causing problems. The operator now goes into the open, and Ross just takes down 2. It's only Brave left, and it's a 1v4 for it. He knows the new kid on the block, exciting prospect, but not much found at all. 12-5 Guild with a statement in this first map. They are looking to try and close this in a 13-5 fashion, and they have the best opportunity to do that because look at FNATIC's buy here, Jess. It has nothing to write home about at all.
I am watching their credits, and oftentimes you can watch the little overlay as well. I love this little replay because speaking of salt in the wound, that really was it with Ross's position there. Both had their backs turned to him, and I think it's important to watch as players try and work out economically what they can buy, what they can't buy, sell, buy, what can I buy?
It's a panic.
You love to watch it. It is. Calculating every kind of possibility there. And speaking of possibilities, Safe says, I want to get into site, I want to get in quick. I can dash over the Nanoswarm, and that he will do. And now that he has access to site, they have to hit the shots. This is FNATIC's best chance, and no, it's gone. Mystic can't hold on.
Well, Safe able to take 2 down treks. This one onto Magnum. Boaster and Brave into the 2v2. This is certainly winnable for FNATIC. In fact, it is now favoring the FNATIC side. Is Coldamenta thrust into the 1 versus 2. He begins his wrap around. He knows that Brave is around here. Easy execution that turns it into the 1v1. It is the leader for FNATIC left in the clutch. The 1v1 for Boaster. If he wants to keep his team alive, he has to lead by example and win this clutch. Spike is down just in front of that Nebula. Coldamenta moves towards it, collects it, and begins to back away. Nebula fades away. Boaster not claiming the info, but decides that the most likely play is for him to have collected that spike and make his way to a different site. So Boaster's trying to get ahead of the curve, but Coldamenta is outbraining the leader. He's going back, and he's going right back to the C site. And Boaster's not B. So this is going to be a plant opportunity for Coldamenta.
A brilliant bit of bait and switch there. Boaster assumes he's picked it up, rotated over to B. No confirmation of a body on B, so he thinks, what about A? Maybe that's an opportunity for me. And as he places down his stars, surely Boaster has heard this. He can hear the spike being planted. He knows it's not on B, and as he has to make his way over, he has utility to play with here. This is the great thing. Out of all the players on the side of FNATIC right now, he has that Rolling Thunder. He has a flash to play with as well. If he plays this smart, he can do this.
He has the fault line. Rolling Thunder alongside of it. They start to wrap around. Coldamenta ships in the night as he transfers over towards the garage. There goes the gravity wall. Boaster's looking the wrong way, but he's got into the corner, and that's going to be a comfortable angle for him to hold for the time being. But now Coldamenta's moved into the fight. Tap again. Oh, he's baiting it out. Coldamenta now locked in and swings for the headshot. Guild will take map 1, 13-5 versus FNATIC. Their map pick will not go their way as Guild show us that